I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you all for coming out this morning. At this time, we'll open up the floor for public comments on agenda items only. Hearing none. Sorry. Yeah, yes, sir.
Joe Wilson from Roseville Borough, here with President of our council and the Vice President of our council. We would like to present our part in a public comment, just because I have to get back to work.
Sure, no problem. Yep, I appreciate that.
Late if nobody has an objection to that.
Sure don't.
I think we sent you a packet out as far as what we were requesting. You want me to read it? I can read it for you if you want, or?
If you could just give us a little bit of the highlights, that's all.
So we were awarded a grant, which, as you know, is a difficult process to go through, and we're going through it right now. But they require, for us to get reimbursed, we have to have a canceled check. Like, we can't just say, here, we're gonna put it towards the grant. So we're small, we just don't have that kind of money, so we're asking for a loan, preferably zero interest loan of some sort, to cover it. And then when we get the reimbursement, we would pay it back the money. In addition to that, we have about a $22,000 shortfall. Even with the grant, we're still short. And we're requesting hopefully a little bit of help with that, or, you know, you guys have been really good to us in the past, and we don't want to push our luck, but we could use the help, we really could. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate y'all taking this project on. It is important to your community, and it is a lot of money for a small municipality to take on. So I appreciate you coming today and providing those details. And we did have an opportunity to review your request here. As you stated, it's to support your multimodal transportation fund grant through PennDOT. And you know, we have experience with that and understand what y'all are going through. So, yep, thank you. Any other comments on that?
No, not really, except for the fact that we sincerely appreciate all the assistance that you have given us. And when we had our flooding issue, well, now it's probably been close to 4 years ago, the commissioners were so helpful to us at that time too, as well as a lot of other local municipalities that helped us out. So it's been a long time coming, but we finally did get this grant that we applied for, and it's just been an ongoing process to continue with what we had to do in order of getting this project started.
Sure.
So we're hopefully over that hump and on the downhill side of it, and we can get that project actually going. So this is where we're at right at this moment.
All right. Thank you. Any other public comments on agenda items only?
I get just a technical question as far as the resolution that I've added. Is there anything I have to do for that? No, okay. Never mind. We're good.
All right. We have the minutes before us from the June 10th meeting. Signed by all, and I will request a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion for approval of the minutes.
I'll second motion for minute approval.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, at this time on our agenda, we are actually going to take a second and recognize one of our staff. Tanner Swan was successful in passing his certified Pennsylvania evaluators exam. So Josh, can you give us a little bit of detail on that? And we'd love for y'all to come up here and take a picture when you're done.
Sure. So the Act 28, Pennsylvania Assessor Certification Act, requires that assessors become certified within 3 years of being hired. That requires 4 weeks of classes, 90 hours of initial certification classes, and then he has to pass the state exam. So Tanner recently completed all those prerequisites and then passed his state exam. So we're happy to have him, move on in his career as an assessor.
Sure. So the oversight by you gets reduced quite a bit because he's certified now. Is that correct?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Because until an assessor becomes certified, they can only go out and collect the data. They can't actually do any of the evaluation work until they become certified.
Sure. All right, well, thank you so much. You guys have anything to say?
No, it's nice to see, people moving up, and Josh, has a good team, a really good team, and it's nice to have dedicated people that like working here, and we appreciate your hard work.
Thank you.
We know it's not an easy job, and I hear that it's not an easy task to pass this Pennsylvania Evaluators exam, so thank you for your commitment and hard work. And you guys want to come up here and we'll get a photo? Does anybody have a phone? We're going to try.
You gotta smile though. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Congrats, Sam.
It's always nice to take a second and recognize staff for what they've been doing, so thank you again. All right, so we will take an opportunity to open bids. We actually have to add this to the agenda. We missed it, so I'll entertain a motion to add the bid opening for the bridge approach project.
I'll make a motion for the addition.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
All right. All right, so our first bid is from Glenn O. Hawbaker. And the base bid price is $212,140. It does have a bid bond, non-collusion affidavit, looks to be complete. The second proposal is from H&P Construction. The base bid price is $378,179.84. It looks to include the bid bond and non-collusion affidavit. So again, at this time, we are going to table those bids because we did not have them on the agenda. We will reach out to the lowest bidder and we will come back to the meeting in August to discuss those bids. So thank you for coming. Any other questions, Fred? Are you good with that?
Yes.
All right. At this time, we'll have personnel items.
Yes, we have some items for the board this morning that are for information, some resignations that we received. Brittany Bretsman from Family Services, effective 6/23/25. James Sepra, detective in the district attorney's office, effective 6/25/25. Mariah Swan, 911 dispatcher, effective 6/28/25. Patricia Waddles, ongoing caseworker and family services, effective 7/9/25. Jennifer Miller, judicial line staff, probation department, effective 7/10/25. And Lexi Adams, corrections officer at Tioga County Prison, effective 7/19/25. We also have, for information, Judge Reppert has hired Corinne Beard as judicial line staff, $14.33 per hour with benefits, effective 6/30/25. The first item I have for approval would be to hire Rachel Courtney, planning director, at $56,000 per year, effective 8/4/25.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with that?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
The next item I have, or items I'll group together, are 3 caseworkers that we would like to hire: Brady Eastwood, Dustin Sherman, and Scal Abel, all as ongoing caseworker 1s at Family Services at $18.30 per hour with benefits.
I'll make motion for approval of all 3 of those together.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
All right.
Next item I have is to approve the promotion of Caitlin Wetzel to caseworker 2 in the intake unit of Family Services at $20.23 per hour, effective 7/13/25.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And the next item I have is to approve the promotion of Brenda Madison to caseworker 2 in the intake unit of Family Services at $20.75 per hour, effective 7/13/25.
I'll make motion for approval.
I'll second the motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
And the last item I have is to approve the termination of Christopher Smith from Emergency Services, effective 6/25/25.
I'll make motion for approval.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second for termination. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
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 Next up is the request to close the green for the Walk for Recovery event on September 27th.
Yep, I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Next up is a proclamation for the pretrial probation and parole supervision week, July 20th through 26th.
And I will read this proclamation. Whereas pretrial probation and parole officers, agents, uphold the law with dignity while recognizing the right of the public to be safeguarded from criminal activity, and whereas pretrial probation and parole officer agents are an essential part of the justice system and critical in protecting the victims of crime, and whereas pretrial probation and parole officer agents work toward changing lives by working together with offenders to help them to transition into law-abiding, productive citizens, and whereas pretrial probation and parole officer agents work collaboratively with local law enforcement, treatment providers, social service agencies, and various other providers and programs involved with the offenders. And whereas pretrial probation parole officer agents promote prevention, intervention, and advocacy, and whereas pretrial probation and parole supervision week is a time to recognize and celebrate the dedicated individuals in the community who work tirelessly to make neighborhoods safer and work together to give offenders a second chance to be productive members of society. Now therefore, we, the Tioga County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the week of July 20th through 26th, 2025 as pretrial probation and parole supervision week in Tioga County. As County Commissioners, we also call upon all Tioga County citizens to honor the pretrial probation and parole officer agents and community corrections professionals to recognize their critical role in the criminal justice system. And I just want to say, you know, that is one of the toughest jobs we have in the county, is the probation department. And I've, you know, a lot of people know my backstory, and I worked with a lot of people and that have had a second chance, sometimes a third chance. in life and have gone through the probation system. And I can produce people that will say it was because of probation officers that I'm alive today. You know, so they do really important work, and we hear about the bad stories, right? We don't hear about all the success stories because they're just normal, back to being normal people in society, and we don't realize what that second chance and kind of holding their feet to the fire a little bit and making sure they're on the straight and narrow. So I just want to say this is an important proclamation, and I appreciate what they do.
Yeah, it is very important to all three of us, and just want to highlight a section of the second to last paragraph that states that they work tirelessly, and they're dedicated to our community to make it safer and give folks a second chance. So appreciate all they do for our community, and it's nice to again take a second and just recognize the work they do for us.
I'll make motion for approval of the proclamation.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
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 Next up is to adopt Resolution R1025 to confirm the term of the Board of Directors of the Tioga County Industrial Development Authority.
The County of Tioga, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Resolution R-10-25, the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County, Pennsylvania, reinstating/reconfirming the term of directors for the Tioga County Industrial Development Authority. Whereas the Board of Commissioners, Tioga County, Pennsylvania, the county, created Tioga County Industrial Development Authority, here known after as TCIDA, by executing Articles of Incorporation October 15th, 1969. And whereas the Commissioners amend the Articles of Incorporation for TCIDA on numerous occasions, including extending the life of the authority, and receive a certificate of amendment dated February 21st, 2003. And whereas Commissioners create an authority to have 5 directors with 5-year terms. Whereas the County Commissioners desire to confirm the terms of the current board. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County as follows. 1. The foregoing recitals of the incorporated herein by reference. And 2. The current directors and expirations of their terms as follows. James Baker, the term expiring December 31st, 2029. Beth Weiskopf, term expiring December 31st, 2028. Mike Cedar, term expiring December 31st, 2027. Wendy Schwartz, term expiring December 31st, 2026. And Thad Compton, term expiring December 31st, 2025. Duly resolved and adopted this 8th day of July, 2025 by the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County, Pennsylvania, in lawful session duly assembled.
I'll make a motion to accept the proclamation, or resolution, rather.
I'll second the resolution approval.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next,
Thank you.
next up is to adopt Resolution R1125 for intent to pursue the formation of a Council of Governments to support the North Central Regional ATV Trail Network.
All right, so I'm going to read the resolution, and then we're going to have a little bit of discussion and some backstory. So Resolution R1125, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Tioga, Pennsylvania, expressing intent to pursue the formation of a Council of Governments to support the North Central Regional ATV Trail NRAT network. Whereas the NRAT network represents a significant regional asset providing recreational opportunities, supporting local economies, and requiring coordinated management across municipalities and county boundaries, and whereas the Board of Commissioners recognizes that the successful development, governance, and stewardship of the NRAT network requires collaboration among multiple jurisdictions, stakeholders, and agencies. And whereas the Council of Governments is a recognized legal mechanism in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, enabling local governments to work jointly on matters of mutual interest under the Intergovernmental Cooperation Act. And whereas initial planning efforts, including input from municipal officials, land managers, user groups, and residents, have been identified, the formation of a COG as a preferred structure to provide governance, coordinate trail development and maintenance, promote safety, and pursue sustainable funding for the NRAT network. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Tioga, Pennsylvania, number 1, the intent to proceed. The county expresses its intent to move forward in the process of forming a Council of Governments for the NRAT network in collaboration with participating counties, municipalities, and other stakeholders. Number 2, authorization of next steps. The county staff and representatives are authorized to continue engaging with regional partners, drafting necessary agreements, and participating in discussions to formalize the structure, purpose, and operational framework of the proposed Council of Governments. Number 3, initial financial support. The county commits to provide initial financial support to assist with the formation and early operation of the Council of Governments, with such costs to be shared equally among the participating counties. Commitment to collaboration. The county commits to work in good faith with other local governments and stakeholders to establish a Council of Government that will promote and coordinate, develop, manage, and provide stewardship of the NRAT network in a manner that benefits the regional residents and visitors. The effective date will be July 2025. We will adopt and enact the 8th day of July 2025 by the Board of Commissioners, Tioga, Pennsylvania. So our county, Tioga County, Potter County, and Clinton County have been in discussions with DCNR since January of this year about taking over the management of the NRAT trail. And we've been involved in many conversations, specifically with those counties, our municipal partners, Westfield Borough, to connect into that regional asset and provide some recreational opportunity here in the county, as well as encourage some economic development. So we are excited about moving this forward, partnering with those other counties and our municipalities. Just this year, we've talked to, I believe, 3 municipalities that have adopted the UTV ordinance. There are municipalities reaching out to us that want to be connected to the NRAT trail system. So we are encouraged by that, and do believe that the best step is to create a COG in cooperation with the 3 counties and the municipalities to provide some uniform structure on the development and operation of that system in our community. Kristen, was there anything you wanted to add? I know you've been involved in some of these conversations from an economic development standpoint.
Sure. As we see other counties in Pennsylvania and across the nation really trying to maximize their natural resources and look at economic development and outdoor recreation, they really tie together for quality of life as well as other economic development benefits. So we have been watching as it's occurring in other places and talking with some of the municipalities as they're moving forward. There are ones that are very positive for it. There are others that have concerns that need to be talked through and addressed. But in general, when you look at the benefits of Tioga County and some of our partnering counties, it definitely is something that would be seen as a positive to look at for both quality of life and economic development in general to move forward.
Yeah, I see the benefit of the NRAT trail system. There's no financial commitment to set it up. The infrastructure is already there. We just need an approved route and buy-in to get that across our community.
Which is a key benefit as to why others have looked at that and established it and moved forward. When you look at what your initial investments are versus what the return on investments can be, in general in other areas, they're seeing it far exceed.
Yeah. And we were, Clinton Representative Owlett was, on the ground floor to get the pilot program set up. A lot of that trail is in Potter County. There's some in Tioga now, but it's very limited. But we are excited to see that expand. Westfield Borough has been working with PennDOT. It got a section of Route 49 opened up so that when the system comes through, it can connect to some of the businesses and gas stations in Westfield Borough. And I see that really helping, helping that community out, especially after the flood last August. So excited to see those those outcomes there, so.
And the pilot has been in place for a few years, so we're seeing benefits from that and lessons learned.
Yeah, I think lessons learned is key too. You know, some of the stuff that they've learned in Potter County, we can help use that information to guide us in how we set up the network here in Tioga. So I think one of the biggest concerns that I heard in January at the first meeting was, you know, pointed load. UTVs coming and going on the same road. So we are trying to take what Potter County learned and, you know, apply it to establishing a trail network in Tioga. All right, with all that said, anything else, guys?
No, I you know, looking at, you know, Potter County and, you know, I've been over there last year for the fireworks over there, and the amount of people that came on, you know, UTVs was amazing. The amount of people that, you know, I think that it will boost tourism for sure. And I think you know, it seems to me like the majority of the residents that we hear from are really behind this and want this, you know, so.
Yeah, we have friends and family leaving the area to go do this in other places, so why not have them stay here or also have folks come here and do the same thing and just help us economically for sure.
Yep,
Yeah, can I ask a question?
absolutely.
In regards to, I'm a cyclist, and a couple years ago, we were riding our bikes, I think it was down through Cross Forks, or I think it was Memorial Day or something, and there were hundreds of four-wheelers that went by us. I mean, not 10, not 20, but hundreds. And I think we stopped in a general store there. Usually you stop in the general stores and there's nobody. There's a line out the door, down the road. We were just trying to get some water, quite honestly.
You said that was a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, back to the pointed load issue, when the
Right.
pilot program started, there were only limited roads that were open.
Right.
And the more that this expands and you can kind of spread that out,
Right.
you know.
So from an economic development
Yeah.
perspective, it makes perfect sense for
Sure.
bringing people into this area and they're spending money and they're staying or they're camping. It's truly a remarkable thing. I guess my question though pertains to like road maintenance that goes along with ATVs, and we ride up through like Painter, Latonia, you know, down through Latonia, et cetera, and I'm assuming that those are the roads that those four-wheelers will be running as well. So I guess it's just a general question. I'm not opposing, I'm not trying to,
Sure.
It's just a question in regards to how does that work with maintenance of those roads?
Yeah, so DCNR has a program set up for roads that are connected to the NRAT to provide some dust suppression and some general maintenance due to the additional wear and tear, so. Yeah. Thanks for your question.
Sure.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make approval for the motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the NRAT resolution. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up is a resolution that came into us late. We did not get on the agenda that was posted, but it is,
All right, I will entertain a motion to amend the agenda to include a resolution for the 2025 Community Development Block Grant Modification.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment to the agenda.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval of adding the block grant modification to the agenda. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
All right, so thank you, Dan, for this, and thanks for all the work you've done. Might ask you for some comments once I get done with this. All right, so a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, authorizing modifications to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development funding for fiscal year 2022 and fiscal year 2023 through the Community Development Block Grant Program as authorized under the Housing and Community Development Act, and therefore certifying compliance with requirements of said program. Whereas it is necessary and in the public's best interest that the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County, Pennsylvania receive funds from the Commonwealth through the development of community and economic development in accordance with the Community Development Block Grant Program. And whereas the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County has the legal authority and responsibility under Act 179 to apply for community development block grant funds, and whereas the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County have taken a considerable citizen participation process, including written invitations to municipalities, informal meetings, hearings, and legal notices, all of which culminate in the prioritization of projects and development of the community development plan, and posting a notice for an additional public hearing on June 27, 2025 for a public meeting on July 8, 2025 for this modification. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County are familiar with the requirements of the program as provided for in the Housing Community Development Act and the Community Development Block Grant Regulations, and whereas the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County wishes to modify the funding allocation in fiscal year 2022 and fiscal year 2023 to meet the immediate needs of Westfield community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County that its chair is authorized to have prepared the necessary forms and documents to submit the modification to the Department of Community and Economic Development for community development block grant funds for the purpose aforesaid, and be it resolved that the chair of the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County is empowered to place his or her signature on the behalf of the governing body on necessary application and official seal of the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County, adopted by the Board of Commissioners of Tioga County at the regular meeting July 8th, 2025. Dan, will you give us kind of the background here of what we're going to move those monies to?
Sure, I apologize for the resolution. Those are statements.
I left out a few things because it was just, yeah.
Essentially, the premise of what we're trying to do is the Westfield Borough had been allocated CDBG funds in fiscal years 22 and fiscal years 23. 22 was to update their sewer collection system because they had so many leaks. So when it would rain, their treatment plant was being overrun with water. So we had monies allocated to repair some of those leaks. In 23, we also had, they were relining the sewer line once again under Route 349 Church Street because PennDOT was going to be resurfacing that in the near future, and so they wanted to do that prior to them getting that done. Anyway, those monies have not yet been spent. And the reason being in regards to they were working with PennVest in regards to trying to figure out exactly best utilization of monies for the project under Church Street. And then when the floods came, they began to rethink with regards to like what are the true priorities of the Westfield Borough. The Cowandiskee River overflowed, obviously. There's a lot of debris, there's a lot of erosion. And so we're reallocating those funds from 22 and 23 to put into the Cowandiskee River restoration, for lack of better terms. And so the upside of that, from my perspective, is that there are DR monies, disaster relief monies designated for that community, but it's going to be another year probably from now before we ever see them. We can move these monies now and have some of this work done, begin to be done by late summer and fall for the restoration of the Cowandiskee River. So that's our efforts of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, thank you. And we've been in conversations with Westfield Borough, and you know they've already done some work to the waterway, but this really helps to make that community more resilient. Like Dan said, remove some of that debris, armor a bank, and I believe a water line, protect a water line that runs that flows under Cowandiskee River. So
right.
Thank you, Dan.
The total amount of funds that we're moving is roughly $261,000 to be able to renovate that street. Right.
Thanks. Anything else, guys?
No, yeah, I mean, I'm grateful we can move these monies around, right? It addresses a need that, you know, and thanks for your help navigating all that for us.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make the motion.
Second motion for approval.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Next up is a proposal from Delta Development Group for a Tioga County housing study.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure, sorry, I had the wrong one. Thank you. All right, so, up for consideration, we have a proposal here from Delta Development to produce a housing study with some actionable items that we can move forward. Over the last year, I think August of last year, we worked with Develop Tioga to reestablish, right, a housing committee.
Housing task force.
Housing. Do you want to talk, Kristen, or you want me to? Yeah, you go.
Sure. A couple of years ago, we started hearing from a large number of employers in the county, everything from manufacturing to healthcare to education to smaller retail and Main Street businesses, that housing was becoming an increasing issue, and it ranked everywhere from your workforce staff to management, all the way across the board. At that time, there was a question of, does Tioga County really have unmet housing needs? So the approach was that we would form a housing task force. And people met, about 25 for a year, came together once a month. It was from elected officials, borough and township representatives, human services, realtors, finance. We really tried to make it all inclusive across the board, employers. And there were a variety of things done during that time, but we did surveys of businesses, we did resident surveys, we looked at statistics and data on housing in Tioga County, and what was the conclusive decision was that basically the findings showed us that there were unmet housing needs, and everything from waiting lists of 3 years in certain parts of the county for low-income subsidized housing, up through realtors having people wanting to purchase new homes, move to the area, and having challenges. We had a number of employers, 1/3 to 2/3 of employers had either lost people due to housing challenges. They have people that were renting in Williamsport and Corning and traveling into the area, and what was happening was they were finding jobs other places and going closer to where they were living. So at this point, the recommendation from the task force was that we needed to look for somebody who specialized with housing consultation, and look at, one, what would be the prioritization of how we should approach the unmet housing needs and how to identify funding to help address those. Another challenge was trying to even have new builds done and contractors not finding the incentives worthy to, and it wasn't just Tioga County, it's Williamsport too. But anyway, we were at the point where, yes, it was identified, we have unmet housing needs, we need to have a plan that makes the best use out of resources, staff time, money, and really trying to meet those housing needs. So the recommendation from the task force to the commissioners was to move forward with a contract with a housing consultant.
Yeah, thank you, Kristen, for that. And I also just want to add in, during our study, we had an opportunity to meet with DCED because the state is working on a housing study as well that they're hopeful to roll out in January. So I'm encouraged that we were already working on that when DCED came, so we were able to share our information that we collected from the community. The partnership and Develop Tioga put together a survey and sent that out to community and had some great responses on there, and again helped us identify that need for the community. And we shared that with DCED, and we're hopeful that we can have our plan ready so when the state has its plan, if there's any funding tied to it, we would be able to, we'd be ready to apply for that. We are also looking to include in this study and for an action item some local initiatives. We have a very active board of realtors in Tioga County. They were part of this process. We actually received some funding, or going to receive some funding from the PA Association of Realtors to help fund this. So we are excited about that partnership, and we have a lot of blighted properties across Tioga County. We have very limited supply of first-time buyer homes. Anything below $200,000, there's very limited number of homes on the market right now for folks to buy. So,
And that's the other challenge, is that people trying to buy a home may be able to finally put some money together to buy the home, but we are seeing more and more homes in Tioga County that are in need of repairs, and there's lack of funding for that, so that's another identified need. And DCED, as Commissioner Rice stated, economic development and housing go together in each of the counties, but Tioga County really did step forward with that team approach.
anything else, boys?
No, the other thing is just rental properties, there's a shortage of rentals, like there just isn't much available, and a lot of them, just because the way things are and the prices of things are expensive, and we need some guidance on it, and solid plan moving forward.
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion for approval.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is a request to appoint Bruce Vickery to replace Beth Wagskoff on the Industrial Development Authority Board. Beth will be resigning.
I'll make that motion.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Bruce Vickery to the IDA. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Next up is a request from Roseville Borough for a $250,000 interest loan to help with their bridge project.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll gladly make that motion. And I just want to say real quick that this is, in our opinion, in my opinion, definitely is a good use of those Act 13 monies to help municipalities get things over the finish line. And I want to say, you all are volunteers to your community, and you do a great job. And I think that just normal folks out there don't realize that all those borough council members, all those, those people that are volunteers to make their community better. And I understand and know the amount of energy and time and dedication it takes to do these things, so we appreciate you. We want to be good partners to you. Just pay us back.
And we will.
I know.
I will gladly second the motion for approval as well.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is a second request from Roseville Borough to help cover a shortfall that they'll find with that project.
I'll entertain a motion. Roseville Borough is requesting an additional $22,000 to assist with some engineering costs.
I'll make a motion for approval of the $22,000.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
And again, that's Act 13, would be Act 13 money.
Yep.
And Roseville Borough says,
Thank you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And
Thank you, because you guys are doing all the work. I mean, I've been to a couple meetings, and the work y'all are doing is great, and doing a good job serving your community. All right.
Next is a contract renewal with Davis Elmer for the fire protection inspection up at the prison.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second it.
We have a motion for approval and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is a continuation of an agreement that was in place last year between the Sheriff's Office and the U.S. Army Corps.
Yep, I'll make that motion.
Second motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next is a quote for Enterprise Fleet Management to replace a human services vehicle that was in an accident and was never replaced afterwards.
I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion for approval.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is a lease agreement for AT&T to put their equipment on county's towers.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
By way of discussion, this is the second provider that's going
This
to be
is the
on?
second provider that is now on that tower, correct?
Okay.
Verizon was the first one to lease space on that tower. AT&T is now the second one to lease space on that tower. For community connectivity, anybody who's traveled down through the Morris area, I think has recognized that they now have cell service most of the way down through there, and if they're AT&T, this will help with that as well. And it's certainly moving forward, knowing that we have some aging towers in our community that are not cheap to replace. This will assist with that as well.
Great, thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up are 24 county tax refunds. They're all for Westfield Borough.
I'll
Related to
entertain.
the flood.
Yep, I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second by way of discussion. Josh, can you let us know what's going on here?
These refunds are the result of appeals that were filed for catastrophic loss due to the flooding that occurred in August last year. So property owners had up to 6 months to file an appeal with our office, and these adjustments reflect a 5-month adjustment, August through December, for the 2024 county tax year. The paperwork also was sent to the borough. The borough would issue their own refunds. Same thing with the school district. School refunds were calculated August through June 30th of this year because they run on a fiscal year.
Yeah, and thanks, Josh, for your help, right during the event, meeting with folks, explaining this program, and again, any way we could help over there, I think this is a good way to help them out.
Great. All right, we have a motion and a second for approval on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up are 20 agreements for the Department of Human Services.
Can you provide a little oversight on or some back information on the transportation agreement with the partnership? Like, what is that service and what does it provide?
Sure. So the transportation contract, so 87,000 of it pays for a coordinator at the partnership and all the expenses that come with that position, who then helps us to coordinate additional transportation needs that we cannot cover in human services.
Okay.
Sometimes it can be, a parent maybe needs to get to treatment. That doesn't really fall under our jurisdiction to transport, but we want to help them maintain sobriety, get to treatment, or medical appointments. We utilize Uber, Lyft, local cabs, Best. So that position helps us to coordinate those additional transportation needs that we cannot cover. And then the other 75,000 actually covers the cost of the transportation.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the 28 agreements for human services.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion. There's 29.
Is it? I thought it was 28.
Oh, it's number
29.
29 agreements.
29.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 29 agreements for human services. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up for information is June's payroll and benefits paid, as well as accounts payable.
All right, at this point in the meeting, we will have public comment. Hearing none, the next meeting of the Tioga County Board of Commissioners is scheduled for August 12th, 2025. In our commissioner news, we are excited to report that we've received $330,000 from PEMA for the flood debris cleanup from last year. The county took action to help Westfield and Knoxville clean up debris, and we were able to get that reimbursed through FEMA. Thanks to Marty and Lisa and the team at EMS. Can't thank you all enough. Marty's energy to get this stuff over the finish line. If we didn't have her, I don't know if we'd be successful. So we are also excited to report that our townships are starting to see some money. Clymer Township was hit real hard, lost a bridge, and took it upon itself to do some rehabilitation, and was in a pinch, specifically, from then till now. So hopefully that helps them get back on their feet. And we are going to continue in partnership with Representative Allett and Senator Yaw, push PEMA to get those other dollars up here. So there has been a little bit of delay. I think we submitted a request in October of last year. So we are getting that across the finish line. And again, huge shout out to Clint Allett and his support and rattling the chains down at the state to get that money loosened up and up here to our community. So what was the total that came last Thursday? I know we got 330, but
I don't know the total because we didn't get
Okay.
reported from all of those that received them.
Yeah, so we are excited about that. We are going to earmark this $330,000 in Act 13 to continue to do some stream maintenance work. So we are looking at some opportunities to hit some high priority debris piles along the Kawaneski Troops in Potter Brook. We do want to invest in this community and make it more resilient, and we feel that targeting this funding that we receive back from FEMA is a good way to do that. If there's anything else you guys want to share with me?
It's just a great opportunity to spend the dollars twice. You spent them last year early on, we spend them again this year, make the most out of the money, and really make an impact for those folks out there. So.
Sure.
Yeah, and to Mark's point, I mean, honestly, without Marty and you all really working as tirelessly as possible and keep beating the drum, and it's a lot. I naively thought that, well, a year from the flood, we'll be all done and everything will be taken care of. But it's a process, and especially funding and waiting and applying and bugging them and doing all the stuff we have to do. It's frustrating at times and super time consuming. So we're grateful.
All right, I'll adjourn the Tioga County Board of Commissioner meeting, and we will enter into the Tioga County Salary Board. We will open up with public comments. Hearing none, we have the minutes for the June 10th meeting before us.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Motion carries.
We have a few items for salary board this morning. The first item is to approve Tanner Swan, our field assessor in the assessment office, an increase of $1 per hour for receiving his CPE certification. And that'd be effective 7/14/25.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item is to create a position, multidisciplinary investigative team, MDIT coordinator in the district attorney's office at $48,464 per year.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. By way of discussion, Sandra, can you talk to us about what this person's going to do, what the need is for the community, and kind of your vision?
The district attorney's office is mandated by statute to operate a multidisciplinary investigative team. It's a group of professionals who get together to discuss investigations of child abuse cases, specifically cases that are requiring some law enforcement kind of look as well. We had, in 2024, I think we got close to 350 child line reports. This year we're ahead of that number. It's very difficult for our office to continue to follow up. We send them out to law enforcement. So we need someone to help coordinate that. I'm also looking for this person to attend a Children's Advocacy Center interview, the forensic interview in the beginning, make contact with the family and support them throughout the process. It takes an extremely long time. It was one of my goals to try to get these things through the system faster, and I've not accomplished that in the year and a half I've been in office. I think our kids deserve better, and our kids deserve to get the same kind of services that they would get if they lived in some of the more lucrative areas of our state. So I'm asking to add this person to the position of MDIT coordinator. They'll have a lot of responsibilities for helping us process those 341 or however many cases we end up with this year, and try to do a better job in getting them those cases that need to get to prosecution and supporting children and families as they go through that entire process. We work with children and youth very closely. Hopefully this person will help with some of the communications with that as well. And I know Sarah and her team are supportive of adding this position. It's been something we've been talking about for the last year and a half. So I appreciate your support. Look forward to trying to report back that we're doing better than we have done.
Thank you. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
The next item is to create a position, staff relations coordinator at Department of Human Services at $48,464 per year with benefits.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. By way of discussion, Sarah, can you kind of identify what this staff is going to do and where the funding comes from?
So the funding comes from their needs-based plan. We wrote for it last year to be implemented this fiscal year. This position will help recruit and retain staff, help assist with onboarding. We do, just a little bit of a disconnect, and when you have multiple units, just to have a central person that new staff can go to when they have questions, just help maintain that flow as it's a lot to start a children, youth, learn everything, and maintain. So just having a person who can help coordinate trainings, questions, get them through those first 6 months to a year.
Sure. Any further questions?
No.
We have a motion and a second on the floor for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
And the last item I have is to create a position, specialized services youth program manager at the rate of $50,624 per year with benefits.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. By way of discussion, Sarah, can you kind of the same thing,
Sure.
what this person's going to do and where the funding comes from?
So our specialized services department currently has a director and then multiple supervisors. So the intention of this manager position is to oversee things like AMP, ACE, IL, any of our children or youth-related programming, to allow the director to oversee the more in-home services. So just to try to put more eyes on the youth programs and enhance those with just a manager to oversee those youth programs.
Okay.
Where's the funding?
That comes from needs-based as well, needs-based.
And what is percentage of state funding to local match for that? Is that
It's an 80-20.
80-20? Okay. Alrighty, thank you. We have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
We will adjourn the Tioga County Salary Board and open the Tioga County Retirement Fund Board. We will open the floor to public comments at this time. Hearing none, we have the minutes from the June 10th meeting in front of us. They're fairly short.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second the motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is to approve payment to Corn Ferry for June 25 actuarial services.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion for approval.
We have a motion and a second on the floor for approval. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Next up is Citizens in Northern's June 25 management fee.
I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Just information of the board.
All right, we will adjourn the Tioga County Retirement Fund Board.
All right, I'll open up the Tioga County Elections Board. Any comments at this time pertaining to elections? Seeing none, Cindy's downstairs doing training currently. Actually, she's not here to be with us. So they did finish up their midterm maintenance for the SHARE program. And then the integrity grant was applied for. They're currently doing the ballot training with ES&S downstairs this week, which is great for them to be trained up on that. So yeah, that's the highlights. They had a good election, and we're getting ready for the general in November now. So, any questions? We'll adjourn the.
We can have.
Yep.
Oh, go past that. Sorry. Back up here 1 minute. Look for approval of minutes from the June 10th meeting that's signed and verified.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor with aye.
Aye.
Aye. There we go. Now we can adjourn.
Thank you all for coming out.
Thanks, guys.
Nice. Yes. We'll just sign that.
Yes.